Kart Wii!
This is a sound I have probably heard more than 1000 times. If I had to describe what my childhood was all about, Mario Kart Wii is one of the first things that comes to mind. In elementary school, I would always finish my homework as quickly as possible right after school, not because I wanted to impress my teachers or parents, but so I could play Mario Kart Wii afterwards. Unlocking every character, track and vehicle were some of my favorite things to do. I also tried to get to 3 stars on each Grand Prix Cup so I could have them besides my Mii for the online races. However, even if I spent countless hours on this, restarting races when a blue shell had once again hit me in the 3rd lap right before the finish line, 2 stars is the most I got. My favorite race combo was Rosalina with the Bowser bike. And my favorite tracks? Well, for the battle mode it was Funky Stadium, then for regular race tracks, that's something I'd like to talk about today. Hi, I'm May, and as we look at some Mario Kart Wii tracks, I'll share my process on designing characters based on them, because art, anime and character design, paired with nostalgia, are some of my favorite things. Alongside this, I also discovered that when I look back on my childhood interests now, it allows me to use my current experiences to rediscover them in a way. There are things I would have never thought of as a child when first playing Mario Kart Wii, but now I can connect these new ideas to the game. Making this video has allowed me to learn from reflecting on my own racetrack of life, and I look forward to sharing this with you. Let's start with the first character design. This one is based on a track in the Mushroom Cup, the first cup of the game. Fitting to the cup name, the track here is Mushroom Gorge. The many mushrooms are characteristic for this race. I really like the cave part where you have 2 paths to choose from. Jumping on all the mushrooms is a lot of fun, as long as you don't get hit by an item or another racer who bumps you off the course. The mushroom visuals in general are something I see as very iconic for the Mario games, like New Super Mario Bros. Wii for example, which I also used to play a lot. For this character, I went with an umbrella that is kind of shaped like a mushroom and more earth-inspired outfit pieces that remind me of the mushrooms. I imagine this character would be shy at first, but very wholesome, open, caring and kind, taking life with its ups and downs. Now some thoughts on a concept I kind of see connected to Mushroom Gorge as a racetrack. As a child, hearing these things would have helped me a lot, so maybe it's interesting to you. Mushroom Gorge is full of surprises. It's chaotic but joyful, bouncing into the unknown, not knowing where you'll land sometimes. It's a lot like life. Sometimes you take a jump, land perfectly and keep going, and sometimes you fall. But just like Lakitu lifting you back up, you get the chance to try again. Every jump is like a decision we make. You can't stay still if you want to move forward on the track, and it's the same in life. Some choices feel easy, others scary, but each one helps you grow. Sometimes even when you can't see what's coming next, you keep going because something inside you tells you there's still a good path ahead. That's what trust feels like. Learning to move forward even when you can't see the whole road yet. You might not always know what's right or wrong at first, but what matters most is how you respond. Falling doesn't mean failing, it means you're still learning where to land, and maybe that's what can make life more interesting, that it changes so quickly. One day everything feels steady, and the next it's like bouncing off a mushroom you didn't expect. It's a reminder that nothing here lasts forever, but if we live with purpose and love, we can find something that does, a kind of lasting peace that doesn't depend on how high we jump or how many times we fall. Even the mushrooms that toss us in new directions can be blessings in disguise, small moments that send us somewhere we didn't plan to go but needed to be. Sometimes the best thing we can do is open our hearts and trust that the next step, even if it's a leap, is part of something good waiting for us. Color-wise, I mostly used red and green for this design, inspired by the mushrooms. Then I added some blue accents. I included mostly dots like the mushrooms as patterns, but I also added crystals on the sweater and plants on the shoes. At first, I thought going for a light skin tone and blonde hair would work, but I discovered I didn't like how this looked altogether, mainly because the design didn't have a lot of contrast. To fix this, I added some darker parts, also going for a darker skin tone and black bluish hair inspired by the cave part of the race. I also realized that I didn't like how the pose looked at first, so I changed up the back leg here. This is how the first character turned out. If you have any ideas for a name for this and the other characters I'll mention next, you can leave them in the comments. Now for the second character, and this one, it's definitely one of my favorite tracks, Coconut Mall. From the elevators, the many palm trees, the epic stunt out of the mall to the parking area, and the interesting shortcut videos I saw for this track on YouTube, this track has a lot of fun parts to explore. The store names and Miis that also drive the cars at the end are really nice to look at, as long as they don't distract you too much from the race. And the soundtrack or theme, it's the perfect motivational track to me and very iconic. The track has an energetic, uplifting vibe to me, and that is what I wanted to go for this character design as well. I went for an energetic pose, holding shopping bags, with an outfit that could fit to the summer setting and weather. This character would be outgoing, expressive, and lively. Discovering new things, for example through shopping, would be one of their favorite activities. Coconut Mall feels a bit like real life. There's so much happening at once. Bright signs, fast music, and endless choices. It's easy to get caught up in all the noise and rush past everything beautiful. On this track, you zoom by the shops without stopping, but if you could walk through it slowly, you might notice the small details more clearly. The colors, the music, the light reflecting off the tiles. It reminds me how often we do the same thing in life, rushing from one thing to the next, buying or doing more because we think it'll make us happy. But sometimes the happiest moments come when we stop and just enjoy what's already around us. In the real world, we have to be careful not to fill our lives with too many things we don't need. It's easy to think that buying more will make us feel better. New clothes, new gadgets, new everything. But that feeling usually fades fast when we focus on what truly matters. And aspects like people, creativity, or helping others, we can feel something that lasts longer. Everything on this world is imperfect. Humans, things, even our own experiences. Due to this, it makes sense that these things can never truly fulfill you or bring you complete happiness. That's why it makes sense to not put our foundation, our roots as people into these things, expecting to be truly fulfilled from them. When you have a strong root and foundation, you can be like a strong, healthy tree that has good fruits for the world around you. It's important that we reflect on where our root in life lies and take care of ourselves, so we can take good care of the people and planet around us. Personally, I find this track can really remind us of how materialistic we or our world can be, that we should be careful of overconsumption just because shopping feels good. Ever since informing myself more about how what we consume affects our world, the people and the environment, I decided to be more minimalistic in my purchases, focusing on quality items over quantity, making sure that I buy organic food when I can, in big bulks and local if possible, for example. Groceries or food is one of the things we generally all need to buy, so making changes here seemed like a good idea to me. I personally also eat vegan food, only focusing on lots of fruits and vegetables, some nuts and seeds, as well as bread and oats. It's what I discovered works best for me, health and sustainability wise. For some time I also visited a nearby store that sold groceries without packaging. You basically went there with your own containers, weighed how much you took and paid for this. The store that sold food this way closed down a while ago, so I'm not able to go there anymore now, but it was a nice experience. Then for shopping other things, hygienic products, clothes and so on, I basically never do this because I already have enough of these things. For example, I got some deodorant cream as well as a hair conditioner and shampoo bar for my last 2 birthdays, and that has lasted me for the past 2 years. Only when I'm with family members is when I go clothes shopping. We usually visit secondhand stores then, but my own wardrobe is kind of overflowing with clothes already, so I know I don't really need any new clothes. I find having too many things can be overwhelming either way, preferring to wear maybe 10 different outside and 5 different inside outfits each year, so I don't have to spend much time thinking about what to wear, but I definitely understand if you get more joy from figuring out a look or maybe even putting on makeup and so on. Self-care in this way can be important. I would just encourage you to only do this for yourself because you are interested in it and not because society or the world told you to. However, there are some purchases I made for my art shop and conventions over the past years. I got storage cubes from Kleinanzeigen, where people sell items they have at home and don't need anymore when I really need something, such as a hard drive for my computer, for example. It's where I go for other products, such as the tablecloth, my banner, but also the prints and stickers. I went with environmentally friendly options when possible. My prints are printed on recycled paper. To save on more paper, I discovered printing the backsides of these papers works nicely as well, because after some time I decided to get my own printer via Kleinanzeigen once again. Then for stickers, I got biodegradable ones instead of the classic vinyl ones. I also decided to produce these myself after some time, getting a sticker cutter machine from Kleinanzeigen and biodegradable sticker paper. Like this, I'm able to produce prints and stickers on demand when someone buys them or for a convention without accidentally ordering too much from a company who also has to ship the items. What would be ideal to me would be if at some point in the future I can print something, a print or a sticker, at the convention event when it is ordered. For that, a portable printer and sticker cutter device that works really quickly would be needed. Maybe it will be realized in the future. In general, just using whatever you already have at home before buying something new can be helpful. We already had a lot of decorative items at home, which I used for my booth setup, for example. Okay, that's it for some materialism and consumerism thoughts. You don't have to do any of the things I do, but maybe you would like to also reflect on this topic for yourself. Since this character design is all about shopping, I thought sharing all of this would be a nice addition. I hope it's helpful, and even small changes, like buying secondhand or locally, can make a difference. Also, maybe Coconut Mall itself teaches something too. You don't have to go into every shop to enjoy the mall. Just driving through, listening to the music and seeing all the colors can already make you happy. Beauty isn't something you buy, it's something you notice. When we start to see life that way, it feels fuller, not because we have more, but because we finally notice what's been there all along. We learn to be more grateful of what we have and are able to see or experience. Back to the design. I added many accessoires that kind of fit to a kidcore aesthetic to me. The dolphin earring also adds a bit of a Frutiger arrow visual, which I kind of associate with the whole Wii era as well. Shopping signs are added as patches as well to show the character's interest in shopping. Color-wise, I wanted to go for something summery and vibrant. I combined mostly yellow and orange tones with some pink and blue colors. The accessories add more various colors as details as well. That's it for the second character. Do you have any specific memories connected to going to the mall, shopping or driving on this track? What name could you see this character have? Now it's time for the third character and we stay in the Flower Cup. This one is actually based on the next track right after Coconut Mall, DK Ski Cane. Unlike with shopping, I have never actually gone skiing, so I don't know what it's like, well, except for the ski jumping in Wii Fit Plus, which I really like to do. From the warm weather of Coconut Mall, this is a drastic change with the snowy environment. This track has many nice sections to me, the cannon at the start, making you invincible from lighting or items, the many hills and ramps which you can do stunts on, the thick snow to avoid, or the Shy Guys at the end of the track. There are also these two big holes where you can even take a shortcut, so you skip one or both of them. This track is also named after Donkey Kong. That's why when designing this character, I imagined he could have a very confident personality similar to Donkey Kong. Other than this, I wanted to add a ski outfit and skiers, so the character could easily enjoy the snowy weather and ski around. Other character traits this character may have would include being charismatic, calm, responsible and active, maybe also kind of mischievous, starting snowball fights at times. As main interests we have skiing and sports. DK Ski Cane starts with fog and mystery. You can't see much at first, but then the cannon launches you high above the snow and suddenly you see the whole mountain. It's exciting, but also a little scary, like taking a big step in life when you don't know what's waiting. That moment in the air between earth and sky reminds me how sometimes we just have to trust that the jump will lead somewhere good. You might not see the end of the path right away, but if you keep moving, things slowly become clearer, just like the snowstorm lifting near the end of the race. When I think of this track, it also reminds me how quickly things can change. Winters used to last longer, snow would stay for weeks when I was younger, but now it's here for only a few days. This kind of ties back to the whole materialism topic we covered in Coconut Mall and how the climate now for the first time in history is affected by humans and not just the natural changes in climate on the world over time. It makes you realize how precious time and life are. Even skiing itself is risky. My dad once broke his hip doing it, and years earlier he had a motorcycle accident. Those moments reminded him how fragile life can be, and it can push you to think about what really lasts beyond it. Life is full of jumps and sharp turns. You can crash, get lost or slip, but you can also grow stronger by learning from every mistake. Sometimes the risky paths, the ones that scare you a little, are the ones that help you move forward the most. And in a world full of different opinions and constant information, it's also important to think for yourself. For example, you've probably heard that not everything you hear or see online is true. People mean well, but everyone's imperfect. So it helps to pause, reflect, and decide for yourself what's right, to stay grounded and not be carried away by every idea you come across. Just following the algorithm, what gets recommended to you on social media, following this without asking any questions, may be similar to just driving straight onwards. On this track at the end of the race, you would run into thick snow and possibly some Shy Guys, slowing you down and making the experience unenjoyable, boring, hurtful or slow. Mindfully steering means you can take stunts and drive past the obstacles with more speed. Similarly to this, when you realize you have the steering wheel for your own life, you get to decide what you consume and how it affects you, what you experience and do in your day-to-day life, and how this affects you. It can be very freeing. Of course, you may have some predefined things like school, college or a job. It's kind of like the boundary or road on this racetrack, but even within that space, which is not part of your free time, you can steer yourself and decide how you deal with different situations. The snow clears at the end of the track and the path finally makes sense. That's what it's like when you start seeing life with more clarity and agency, when you realize you can navigate all those bumps, stunts and turns and that they were leading you somewhere meaningful. How do you know what the correct way to navigate or steer is? For this, you can get inspired and influenced by the people, experiences and things around you, but at the core it makes sense to trust in something that is free from the imperfection this world has. Truth that doesn't come from this world, a truth that is perfect, constant and filled with love even when we make mistakes. For the character design, you can see that I added various elements found on the track as patches, the ski lodges, snowy trees, ramps and so on. I wanted the outfit to be warm but also easy to move around in, and I focused on blue and white tones with some brown, red and green accents. For the hair, I thought adding some white tips would make it more interesting, adding a frosty kind of look. And this is the design for the third character. What are your experiences with skiing winter or this track? You can leave your thoughts and ideas for names for the characters in the comments. That's it for the character designs for this video, but we can't talk about Mario Kart without mentioning the kind of final boss of the game, Rainbow Road. For this track, I'll draw an illustration of one of my original characters, Yumari. He is the moon guardian of his world, so drawing him here made a lot of sense to me. He would fit into the spacey aesthetic. Rainbow Road is a very pretty but dangerous track. I love how the race floor looks here with the sparkly, at times translucent, soft pastel rainbow tones. Then there are the colorful stars, galaxies and the golden metal star elements. There is a star cannon as well, which Yumari would be sitting on in this kind of alternate version I drew of the track for the illustration. The booster fields can be helpful but also dangerous. It's all about driving carefully on this track. Rainbow Road is one of my favorite tracks in general. Actually, since this is the final race, I'll mention my top 3 Mario Kart Wii tracks. One of them is not included as a character design in this video. Can you guess which track? And here's the reveal. My top 3 would be Bowser's Castle from the Special Cup, Rainbow Road from the Special Cup, and Coconut Mall from the Flower Cup. What's your personal top 3? I'd love to hear which tracks are generally liked by those who played or still play this game. Now back to Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road feels like a dream, colorful, endless and a little dangerous. It's one of those tracks that makes you look up in awe. You see the stars, the planets and the whole world far below, and it reminds you how small we really are in this huge universe. There's something comforting in that. Realizing that you're just one person out of so many, but still part of something amazing. Sometimes it just fascinates me how humans work. You have your own mind and thoughts, and you are the only human person in this world who knows what exactly is going on inside of you. You can try to explain it to others, but only you can truly be you. All those coincidences that led to who we all are today, where you are in life right now. I find thinking about how this and the whole planet works, that we all even have the chance to live on this world, very fascinating. It makes you think about imagination, creativity, and how much there still is to explore and learn. What makes life more beautiful as well would be realizing that it isn't just random. Every person you meet and every moment you experience connects in ways you might not see right away. It's like driving on Rainbow Road. You don't always know where the next turn leads, but when you look back, you start to see how each twist brought you somewhere that makes sense. It's a bit like when you practice something for a long time, drawing, learning or sports, and one day you suddenly notice how much you've grown. That feeling shows that all the small steps had a purpose. Life can be like that too. You might not see the full plan yet, but you're learning and growing through every part of it. Everyone has a purpose, something they were made for, and even though it can take time to find it, once you do, it brings a kind of peace and fulfillment that nothing else really can. It's a reminder that this life is meaningful and that there can be something even greater waiting beyond it. I love how this track glows with light. It's like hope shining even in the dark. It reminds me that even though life can be hard, there's beauty in continuing the race, in dreaming big, and in believing that there's more out there than what we can see right now. For the illustration, I designed a new outfit for Yumari, fitting to an ethereal but also sharp aesthetic, representing the elegance but also danger of the track. Adding some translucent fabrics was especially nice to me. I tried adding a similar texture to the race floor for some of these parts. I will always be fascinated by this texture. Yumari is a kind of peaceful, elegant and reserved person who can sometimes also have a cold and mysterious side to him. To me, this makes him fit to Rainbow Road as a racetrack. He would enjoy being there. And with that, the final artwork for this video is done. Which of the character designs do you like most? Which Mario Kart Wii track would you like to visit yourself? I'll share a tier list where I ranked all Mario Kart Wii tracks here. This was fun to do, I like each track, but some of them just have a lot more interesting elements or visual aesthetics, which I personally like. If you'd like to support me, you can also check out my Patreon. I'll have longer screen-recorded process videos of the character designs from this video and the process of drawing Yumari on there. It would mean a lot if you check it out. Same goes for liking the video, subscribing, in case you would like to see more character design related videos in the future. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, bye!